Welcome back, guys, to Phoenix Wright, Turnabout Time Traveler. This may very well be the last recording session of Phoenix Wright that I do for a very long time. Trial Day 2, continue. Hey, where's my sound at? Alright, well, I really hate that I'm having to do it this way, but I'm just going to have the mic pick up the 3DS in the background, because I can't figure out what's going on with the sound here. It was just working fine last time I recorded this 2 days ago. There was a Windows update, which I suspect might have had something to do with it, but whatever. I really hate that that's happening on the finale here, but okay, here we go. I'm not sure if I should be surprised or not. One thing's for sure, he won't be an easy adversary. Well, we barely talked to the dude. So do you think Pierce did it? It's too early to say anything at this point. But I do think he's still hiding something. Nick! Why did you put everything on Sorin, loser back there? Looks like Larry Smith still hasn't given up on Elliot. If this Pierce guy's the real bad guy, then Sorin and my Ellie will live happily ever after together. Oh, and you would just hate that, wouldn't you? Larry, that's not the kind of thing a decent human being says. Shame on you, Larry! You're not gonna be in the next game! Oh, you think I don't know? You think I don't know I'm not gonna be in the next game? I know I have to give up on my Ellie. I know! But Nick, promise you'll make her happy. She deserves a happily ever after. Well, I'm sure Sorin will make her happy once all this is said and done, dude. Trial's about to resume, Mr. Wright. Are you done talking to that dude over there, the Chester Cheetah Man? I could go for some Cheetos right now and some bagels while we're at it. Oh my god. Alright, you ready, Maya? Let's do it. Last time together. I love you. Let's go. I'll be rooting for you, Nick. Okay, you root for me then. Just make like a tree and root for me. Jeez. Mr. 23rd, District Court, Corporate number 6! I should stop trying to be Nico B. Seriously. The court's now back in session. Witness, please take the stand. Oh, those are some fancy shoes, man, let me tell you. Fancy trench coat, fancy BB-8. He's ready. Please state your name and occupation. My name is Pierce Nickety. I'm the Sprocket family butler. I don't know what my voice sounded like before. Let's get straight to the point, Mr. Nickety. Let's just cut through the whole crap cake here. Dang, I got a piece of Louis stuck in my teeth, man. Someone tore out a page from Mr. Sprocket's notebook to manipulate his memories. What do you got to say about that? That person was you, wasn't it? Oh, that is correct. What about it? Oh. Well, that was easy. So why'd you do it? Why'd you tamper with Mr. Sprocket's notebook? Please allow me to explain. It pains me to do this, but I will tell you the truth. It pains you? Because you care so much. That is correct. For my testimony will go against Master Sorin's wishes. Sorin's wishes? What is he talking about? Okay, so let's say this guy really was the doctor who operated on the sister. Does that mean... because that would mean he was also her fiancé, right? Why I tore out the page? Okay, well... I rushed to the Vista deck, but the crime had already been committed. Click! I saw Miss Ellen and Gloomsbury collapsed, and Master Sorin writing in his notebook. Because that's what he does when he sees two people collapsed and dead on the floor. He writes about it in his notebook. Master Sorin said to me, I'll take the blame for the murder, so please take care of Ellen. I'm like, I don't care about Ellen, I wanted your sister, but you drove a car into another car and ruined everything. But I went against his order. I tore the page out of his notebook and hid the body. My eyebrow is furrowed right now. Wait a second. What Mr. Sprocket was writing in his notebook at the time, could it be? He was already hell-bent on taking the blame at that point. But Nick Odie's like, no. Well, what do you think was going to happen as an alternative, though? But did he want her to take the fall for it? He wrote that message to take the blame for Miss Wyatt? That is correct. Master Sorin did hit Gloomsbury with the timekeeper to save Miss Ellen. Then Mr. Sprocket was the culprit after all! Not so fast, my man. However, that blow did not kill Gloomsbury. That makes sense. Mr. Sprocket's injury wouldn't allow him to put much force into it. Enraged, Gloomsbury tried to attack Master Sorin, who was already seriously wounded. But just in the nick of time, Miss Ellen hit Gloomsbury from behind. And finished him off, it would seem. So the one who inflicted the fatal blow was the defendant. Yes, that is correct. But Master Sorin tried to take all of the blame onto himself. No way! This is pretty bad, Nick. No kidding, pretty bad is an understatement. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems your decision to call for Mr. Nicody has backfired. I win. For the true culprit behind this case remains the defendant Ellen Wyatt. Arnie! Could this get any worse? But Pierce was involved in the cover-up plot. I bet he still has something to hide. Well, we're just gonna have to dig in and see what that is then, aren't we? Man, those electric currents before the faces show up still always get me. Why I tore out the page. Oh god, I only got 2 HP over here. Oh, I just bumped my leg on my desk. Ow! Thank goodness I had some pants to protect me a little bit. It's like real life, man. Real life armor. You rushed to the Vista deck, but the crime had already been committed. That's all I can say about that. Wait a minute. Where are you going? I thought you went to the Vista deck with Mr. Sprocket. Actually, that is not true. What? What do you mean? I found this out afterward, but Master Sorin went to the Vista deck alone. He went out the escape hatch in the reception hall and went along the outside wall. Okay. You can't be serious. You mean Mr. Bright's addle-pated guess was actually correct? What's with the addle-pated? Would you like to take me to the back room and show me what addle-pated means? Does it have anything to do with a paddle? Because I'd be totally down. Anyway, I suppose truth really is stranger than fiction. So, Mr. Nicody, when you got to the scene, you saw Mr. Gloomsbury, Miss Wyatt, and Mr. Sprocket. You know, I kind of feel like this might be a little loud. I'm going to turn it down just a tiny bit. I don't want it to be, because I won't be able to control it later, like if it turns out to be too loud. I'd rather it be too quiet than too loud. That is exactly right. Cool. Alright. Then we'll be pressing this one then. So when you and your group arrived at the Vista deck, the murder had already been committed? That is correct. Gloomsbury had already been struck. Miss Ellen had lost consciousness, probably from the shock of the incident. And how did Mr. Sprocket appear? He was bleeding from the stab wound he'd received from Gloomsbury. Barely conscious, he was writing something in his notebook. Seems legit. But there's still this whole freaking second reception thing going on here. Plus those notes, you know, like the one... Shoot. Master Sorin said to me, I'll take the blame for the murder, so please take care of Ellen. But then she said, I'll take the blame for the murder, please take care of Sorin. So Mr. Sprocket wrote a note of confession in order to take the blame for Miss Wyatt? Yes. That notebook is the only form of memory he has. So you understand what his action meant, I trust. But then you tore it out. What did it mean, Nick? To Sorin, everything in that notebook is true, so Sorin tried to take the blame by altering his own memory to make himself think he did it. No. Yes. That's called true love, y'all. Yeah, just like he says. It must have been love that made him do that. Don't say that to Edgeworth, by the way. But I went against his order. I tore the page out of his notebook and hid the body. Okay. Mr. Nicody, could you please tell this court about that in more detail? That, you say? Which part do you mean, Mr. Wright? Could you be more specific? Oh, alright, Well, What part do I want to know more about? Both, really. Hiding the body, probably. Please tell me more about the hiding of the body. Oh, let me tell you, it was really fun. He was super heavy. So, I had to use my powers. I don't know. After saying he would take the blame, Master Sorin passed out. That's when I hid the body. I quickly took the lift down to the hold, where I hid Gloomsbury's still warm body in the spare Pegable lantern. So it was you who hid the body, not the defendant. To think Mr. Butts would move the lantern containing the body to the reception hall. Well, I did not see that coming. I don't blame you, not even Larry can predict what Larry will do next. Maybe I should take another look at the lantern and evidence. Mr. Wright, would you like that statement added to the witness? Yeah, I think so. Because we're getting into the thing with the wheel now. Yes, please. Very well, please add that statement to your testimony, Mr. Nicody. Here we go, y'all. In the hold, I hid the still warm body in the spare Pegable lantern. So we need to go and press this real quick. Why did you hide the body in the lantern? My boyfriend just died. Why am I showering? As I told you yesterday, it was to make it as though the murder never happened. But thanks to Mr. Butts, things did not turn out as planned. So holding the second wedding reception wasn't Mr. Sprocket's idea. But yours, wasn't it? It was all for Master Sorin's sake, and Sprocket Aviation. If I am accused of a crime for trying to cover up the incident, I shall accept it willingly. He really doesn't even seem to care about himself. Well, he's had it, man. His girlfriend's dead. His job is dead. His company is dead. So he's talking about the cover-up after the incident, huh? Right, that's information only somebody who was actually involved could know. So it might be a really important piece of testimony. I think so, too. I'll really have to tread carefully here. Okay, I might be getting ahead of myself with a wheel here, though. But I feel like... Pegable lantern, okay. But here... Is that in the evidence, though, first of all? Yeah, the restored lantern, there's a bloodstain on the inside wheel handle as if somebody gripped it with a bloody hand. I'm gonna try. Hell yeah. Could it be? Is that what happened? If what I'm thinking is true, then maybe I can prove neither Ellen nor Sorin did the deed. Mr. Nicody, you said the body was still warm when you hit it, correct? So then what if Mr. Gloomsbury was still alive when you went to put his body inside the lantern? What? What? That's preposterous, you silly goose. Actually, other silly goose, this shows that the victim might have still been alive while inside the lantern. I'm afraid you'll have to point out which part you're talking about, Mr. Wright. Oh, well, don't mind if I do. Make sure we don't accidentally press here. Okay, present. Gotcha. As you can see, the back end of the lantern is a door, and there's blood here on the wheel handle. So what, you meaningless buffoon? That bloodstain must have gotten there when the witness put the body inside the lantern. It in no way shows that the victim drew his last breath while he was within the lantern. Well, I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth, for you see, in putting this lantern back together, the police inadvertently placed the inside handle on the outside, and vice versa. I like how he's not naming Emma as the reason for this. That's called being a good friend right there. In other words, the wheel handles got swapped. Oh my, so they got swapped. Yes, they got swapped. What? They got swapped? But that's ridiculous. It is, isn't it? But hey, it happened. Not at all. If you compare the other male Pegable lantern in the reception hall, you can see that wheel has a golden body. The detective in charge of the restoration will see me in my office later. Oh dear. sorry, Emma, and good luck. No. No, Emma. Man, oh man. It's my wife and your husband. In an office. In that case, what does the blood stain on the wheel handle mean? The blood stain didn't get there by chance. When the victim was put inside the lantern, he was only unconscious, not dead. When he regained consciousness, he probably tried to get out of the lantern. So he grasped the inner wheel handle, and that's when the blood got on it. This proves that the victim was still alive when he was inside the lantern. Oh, shoot. Man. At the time, I was completely convinced Bloomsbury was dead. Had I checked more carefully, he might have survived. Unfortunate to be sure, but not significant enough to change this trial's outcome. Again, I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth, because if he was still alive, that means neither of them killed him. The victim was struck by the defendant, then died from his injuries sometime later. Well, yeah, I guess that's true. There's nothing more to it. That's where you're wrong. Let's take another look at Mr. Gloomsbury's autopsy report, shall we? I know you love those things. Please focus on the description of his injuries. Well... yes, the one Mr. Sprocket gave him, and the one Miss Wyatt delivered to finish him off. No, the defense would like to submit a different interpretation. Is the defense going to present an updated autopsy report? The victim was knocked unconscious by the first blow, and was then put into the lantern. Then what about the lethal blow by the defendant that the witness talked about? Yeah, well, that didn't happen. You know what, actually, maybe Larry did it. Maybe Larry wheeled the Pegable over a bump in the floor, and he caused him to bump his head on the ceiling of the horse. Hashtag ceiling of the horse. After some time, when the victim regained consciousness and tried to get out of the lantern, that's when he received the second blow that finished him off. Taking into account the fact that the victim was alive for a period after the first hit, and that he did receive a second blow to the head, it does seem entirely possible. Yep, as long as the first blow didn't kill the victim instantly, then there's a possibility that someone other than Mr. Sprocket or Miss Wyatt delivered the fatal blow. Boy, he's so mighty. Ooh, man, okay. That's all you've got. Even if there was a time lag between the two blows, the prosecution's position doesn't change. What do you mean? Think about it. It's elementary, Mr. Wright. After the reception, when the defendant was cleaning up the reception hall, the victim, who was supposed to be dead, suddenly came out of the lantern. The defendant grabbed the murder weapon, which was right there, and finished him off. That theory sounds awfully familiar. Of course it does, Your Honor, because it's exactly what I proposed at the very start. The second blow was inflicted by the defendant after all. I see. It seems a tangle of mysteries has unraveled into a single thread. But wait. But as long as there's a possibility that the fatal blow was delivered by a third person, then we must continue the deliberations. Give it up, Mr. Wright. I'm so tired of this. Unless you have something to prove the presence of your precious third person. Okay, Nick, just relax. You can do this. Come on now, take some deep breaths. Okay. There, don't you feel better already? Maya's right. I should calm down, get my focus back, and go over everything again. Then hopefully I'll be able to find something to prove there was a third person. Let's see. First, why did Gloomsbury attack Ellen? Because he was tired of taking the blame for the accident? But something about that line of reasoning just doesn't feel quite right to me. No, how come? Well, if it's just a personal vendetta, he had already stabbed Sorin. So why then was he so determined to go after Ellen? You're right, this whole thing feels too premeditated for a crime of passion. But Gloomsbury didn't seem to have a personal grudge against Ellen. If Gloomsbury didn't have a personal reason to attack Ellen, then... You've taken long enough, Mr. Wright. Now it's time for some action. What proof do you have that a third person was involved? Alright, I'll show you. I'm not completely sure of what I'm doing yet, but it looks like I'm out of time. Dear me. This piece of evidence proves the involvement of a third person. Oh boy. You just put me in a spot here. Okay, alright. What were we just saying? Can I go over that dialogue again? Because I feel like that usually helps. Now that I know what the question is, I know what sort of context I'm looking for here. Oh, wait. Wait a minute. It even flashed the note up there during that dialogue. No time to the is written by a right-handed person. You know what? This might be where that comes in. I get it now. Now I see why this note bothered me so much when I first saw it. Well, it didn't bother me when I first saw it. It bothered me once I found out he was left-handed. Looks like a note outlining the murder plot. That note was apparently written by the victim. Why would he feel the need to write instructions to himself like this? That's true, too. Your Honor, please take a look at this note. Finally, we're going to see what this means. This is the victim's murder plan, right? It's definitely a murder plan, but what if Mr. Gloomsbury didn't write this note himself? What, you say? Oh man, what are you doing now? This is how you intend to conjure up your mysterious third party, Mr. Wright. Can you even prove that the note wasn't written by the victim? Yep. Yep, I can. Cool. Very well then, please present your evidence, Mr. Wright. Ha! This evidence proves the victim didn't write the note. Here we go. Here we go. Man, I'm glad I spotted this when I did. Take that, y'all. This is the weapon Mr. Gloomsbury used to stab Mr. Sprocket. I was wondering what you'd pull out this time. At least you'd say when I'd pull out. Wait, what? Dare I ask what that could possibly have to do with the note? Mr. Gloomsbury's prints were found on this candelabra, and the prints were from his left hand. So that makes the victim left-handed, correct? Exactly, Your Honor. The police looked into it too and confirmed as much. Now take a look at the smudged writing in this note. Notice how the smudging only starts from the middle of each preceding line. Had this been written by a lefty, the writing would be smudged from the far left end. This means that whoever wrote this note was definitely right-handed. In other words, somebody other than the victim wrote this note. What? Huh. But if someone other than Mr. Gloomsbury wrote it, then what does this note mean? Mr. Gloomsbury followed this note to the letter when he attacked Miss Wyatt. So clearly this note isn't a murder plan written by Mr. Gloomsbury, but rather... these are instructions to kill Miss Wyatt issued by somebody else. Ooh. If it wasn't the victim who wrote these so-called instructions, then who wrote it? Most of the people involved are right-handed, you know. He is correct. The majority of the family and their employees who were on the airship are indeed right-handed. I must say, that is a very rough and slipshod conjecture you proposed. That is a very nice vocabulary. I admit I haven't figured out who wrote it just yet. Leave it to Mr. Edgeworth to go for the jugular. This culprit who ordered Gloomsbury to attack Ellen. What could their motive have been? Doesn't seem very likely Ellen did anything to incur anybody's wrath, right? Right, not too likely anyway. In that case, it has to be about Sorin. If somebody were to hold a grudge against Sorin, what would it be about? That accident, I'd get. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I could understand if Gloomsbury felt resentful about having to take the blame. But the one who lost the most to that accident was Sorin's sister. She lost her life, after all. Sorin suffered too, of course. He was crushed by losing somebody so precious to him. Somebody precious, huh? Sorin's sister. Uh-oh. Yep. I think this is somebody else used Gloomsbury to try and get revenge against Sorin. Did you say somebody tried to get revenge against Mr. Sprocket, Mr. Wright? The person who manipulated and used Mr. Gloomsbury was... Selena's fiancé. I should have tried those other answers. Oops. Too late now. The person who used Mr. Gloomsbury to try and get revenge on Mr. Sprocket, and then finished Mr. Gloomsbury off to silence him, was a man dear to Mr. Sprocket's older sister, Selena Sprocket's fiancé. Not that I'm not positive, but it's certainly possible. This fiancé could have made Gloomsbury attack Ellen to get his revenge on Sorin. What are you talking about? Her fiancé? How is he still keeping a straight face? If indeed it's him. Order in the court! Order, I say! Yes, it does seem quite believable that Miss Selena Sprocket's fiancé would bear a grudge against Mr. Sprocket for his role in the accident. Exactly, Your Honor. Maybe your fiancé was trying to murder Miss Wyatt in order to make Mr. Sprocket experience the same pain he felt. But Miss Sprocket's fiancé was a surgeon, if memory serves. But the only people who attended the reception were family and staff members. That may be, but then that just means that Miss Sprocket's fiancé must have been among those who attended. I mean, if I'm right, you know. Of course, otherwise how could he have killed Gloomsbury? Yeah, I know. It's a big one. Alright, I'll bite. Oh, please do. I mean, wait. Who exactly do you claim this fiancé to be? Stop making innuendos about me. Told you I'm never getting married. Yes, I'd like to know as well. Are you sure you're going to be okay, Nick? Maybe. When it comes to suspicious people, there's only one person on my list. I need to find something that connects him to Selena. This will help us identify Miss Sprocket's fiancé. Alright, what is in the article again? Okay, well, it has the date, so there's that. I don't think that's enough, though. Maybe this is why I present the picture with a watch. Are we really going to go for that? I don't have that much else in here that really pertains to her. I have stuff about the accident, but... yeah, I'm going to try it. Let's do it. Let's just go all in here. Please take a look at this photo, Your Honor. That photo. Oh my god. Notice Miss Sprocket's pocket watch. That's a tongue twister. Haven't we seen it somewhere before? Oh my gosh, I believe we have. Now that you mention it, I do feel as if I've seen it about 1,000 times. What you gonna do? You gonna pull it out now? I believe we've all seen it. Right here in this very courtroom. Impossible. That's right. The pocket watch in this photo. It's the same pocket watch Mr. Nicody has on him right now. What a coincidence. Whoa! This is clear proof of a strong connection between Pierce Nicody and Selena Sprocket. No. Not the sad music, please. Don't remind me that I'm single. Well, Mr. Nicody, is this true? Mr. Nicody, you were once engaged to Selena Sprocket. That pocket watch, you keep it as a memento of her, don't you? There it is. That's what I'm talking about. Mr. Nicody, you plan to rob Mr. Sprocket of his loved one to make him feel the same pain as you, isn't that right? But Mr. Sprocket managed to fight back and knocked Mr. Gloomsbury unconscious. You thought Mr. Gloomsbury was dead and hid his body in the lantern. He's got nothing to say now, does he? But then you notice Mr. Gloomsbury regained consciousness. And so you finished him off to prevent your plan from being exposed. This is the defense's take on what really happened in this murder case. Mr. Wright, does this mean what I think it means? I sure hope not. You wish to officially accuse this witness of the murder of Dumas Gloomsbury? I think it's about time to do that. Man, I got the farts today. Does the defense accuse Mr. Nicody of the murder? Yeah, I think we're going to. The defense indicts Pierce Nicody on the charge of murdering Dumas Gloomsbury. BAM! Mr. Nicody, would you care to respond? Oh, you're so quick to jump to conclusions. Man, this lawyer just yaps on and on and on. As you guessed, this watch is a memento of Selina. It stopped working at the time of the accident, though. Then you really are. Click. Yes, I was Selina's fiancé, and not just her fiancé, but the world record holder, but the surgeon beside her deathbed. Ouch. Mr. Nicody, do not dredge up these awful memories. Why didn't you tell me any of this before? Shut it, you useless prosecutor. Whoa! Easy there. I thought you could be of use, but apparently this case was too much for you. What did you say? Oh, he was trying to use him. Oh, no! This is why all the other prosecutors didn't want to... Because they knew that something was going on, right? Or something like that. If your office hadn't stuck its nose all up in this, I could have swept it under the rug. Not only did you interfere with the case, but you even let me fall under suspicion. That's because you kept trying to cover things up on the sly. Oh! But covering things up wasn't your only involvement. The only person who had a motive to use the victim to try and kill Miss Wyatt was you! You cock tease! Oh, jeez! Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Oh, no. What's... Man, his eyes are, like, right on. Uh-oh, he just turned into... freaking Laguna. Wait, how long is this? Malignant tumors. There are malignant tumors in this courtroom. Lesions oozing with false charges. Who's that? The tumors are one idiotic lawyer and one useless prosecutor. Then who's the hemorrhoid? After the truth is revealed, I'll have the both of you incised from the legal world. You don't know what you're talking about, dude. We've been in 6 games together. And you're a newbie. I'd like to see you try. With the power of the Sprocket family, it'd be a cinch. What is he doing to BB-8? I will now begin the operation. What in the world happened to Mr. Nicody? He's picking up stuff from his old job that he didn't forget. Yeah, that too. Nick, look what he did to that shoulder mech. Quit your yapping before I suture your chatty lips shut. It's like he's a completely different person. Sure looks like it, huh? Can't let our guards down now. Mr. Nicody, it's finally time for you to testify to the truth. Come on with it. Seems we're entering the final act at last. Witness your testimony, please. Man, we're getting there. Right to remain silent, huh? Okay. Mr. Nicody, why didn't you say anything? Well, that's gonna be a good shot. You want me to voluntarily testify, hoping I will make a slip of the tongue. Not a very impressive plan or brain, I might add. Ow, that was uncalled for. If you want to know something, you ask the question. I will answer, but I have no intention of making any voluntary statements of my own. What's he trying to do, Nick? He's using the silent treatment as his strategy to avoid getting tripped up. Clever guy. No more lies, Mr. Nicotine. You will tell us nothing but the truth from now on. Well, here comes Edgeworth's picture. Ah! Jeez, that light bright, that light bright, that light bright, that bright light. What do you think you're doing? The cravat. No one asks you to speak. Just keep quiet over there and play with your frills. So that's all you've ever done. So you're never going to get married, so all you're ever going to have is your frills. Well, this is a rather unconventional situation, but please proceed, Mr. Wright. Yeah, Your Honor, I got this. No problem. I got my little press button, and I'm just going to go to work here. Right to remain silent. Ugh. Alright then, press number 1. Here we go. If he won't speak voluntarily, then I guess I'll have to ask him something. What question should I ask? Let's start from the top and work our way down. More like start from the top and work your way up, am I right? Oh! Isn't it true that when Mr. Gloomsbury regained consciousness inside the lantern, you murdered him in order to silence him? He was an excellent employee and very loyal to me. Gloomsbury was my right-hand man. I'd suffer the most from losing him. You really think I'd kill a guy like that? Yeah! That would make sense only if you were innocent. But since your goal was revenge, you don't really have to care about something like that. Oh, damn. But I am innocent, I tell you. I am. Don't try to force your conjectures onto me. Alright. Guess without decisive evidence, I can't pursue this line of questioning any further. Mr. Wright, would you like that statement added to the witness's testimony? Didn't sound like I needed to. Nah. No, thank you, Your Honor. I better tread cautiously here. Alright. Oh, I wasn't the first one. Okay, well. Is there like 9 questions here, then? Because there's like 3. Grudge against Sorin. You've been nursing a grudge against Mr. Sprocket over the loss of your fiancé. Isn't that right? Yeah, I suppose I have. I'd be lying if I said I felt no resentment whatsoever. But Master Sorin didn't cause that accident on purpose. Notice how I'm not flashing the X on the watch towards you anymore? It's because I don't like you. Master Sorin himself was suffered greatly. But you quit being a surgeon and found a way to get even closer to Mr. Sprocket. Wasn't that so you could carry out your revenge on him? Don't insult me. Supporting Master Sorin and Sprocket Aviation with my life's work is my penance for not being able to save Selena. This is how I honor her. I feel your devotion as both a fiancé and a surgeon. Your statement breaks my heart. I never thought of exacting revenge on him, Master Sorin. Never thought of it, huh? Guess I should probably take that with a pound of salt. Mr. Wright, would you take that statement added to the witness's testimony? Let me see what the third one is before I do that. So that might have something to it, though. What happens if I press the second one? Let me just see. Oh, same thing either way. Alright, cool. Well, that's actually kind of a relief then. Actions on the day of the crime. On the day of the incident, you were constantly surrounded by your subordinates. Is that right? Absolutely. See? So I couldn't have done it. I was in someone's line of sight at all times. After all, I was busy taking care of every detail of the event. Mr. Edgeworth, I believe your investigation backs up my claim. I got statements that said groups of his subordinates worked with him in rotation. So he was always with someone. As the prosecutor just said, I couldn't even get close to the lantern containing Gloomsbury by myself, let alone kill him. Pierce didn't have a chance to get close to the victim alone, huh? Mr. Wright, would you like that statement added to the witness's testimony? I mean, okay, so my first thought, and it probably sounds stupid, is, well, like, would he have been alone in the elevators going up and down? If he was in there with the Pegable statue and the body, would they fit in there with him? I don't know. I'm gonna go back and add that second one. I don't know, I might be wasting time here. Well, he said it doesn't seem all that important, but on the second one, he said I eventually have to add something, don't I? So let me just get back there and add that one. Yep, we're gonna add that one. Yes, please, Your Honor. I have to find an opening somehow. Yes, you do. I've never thought of exacting revenge on Master Sorin. But hold it, though. So you have had no thoughts of vengeance toward Mr. Sprocket whatsoever. Of course not! Selena wouldn't have wanted that. Throwing my own life away and live solely for the sake of the Sprocket family. It's not sure I love her. Alrighty then. Well, one thing's for sure. Pierce gets really emotional when it comes to Selena. No kidding. Not sure how he feels about Sorin, but his love for Selena is pretty obvious. So we could have added all three of them, I guess. It looks like it just replaces each one with, like, a thing. Never thought of exacting revenge. So I could just go back and add the other two if I wanted to. And at least press them and see, like, what they... see what they say. Okay, so Gloomsbury was my right-hand man. I'd suffer the most from losing him. What did Mr. Gloomsbury think of Mr. Sprocket? After all, he was forced to take the blame for that accident. He must have been resentful. He got his position as the lead servant in exchange for taking the blame. It wasn't exactly a bad deal for him. A job for your reputation, after all. Which I also got the same way, but we haven't gotten to that yet. But he must have felt some sort of indignation. Who knows? Now that he's dead, we'll never know for sure. It's pointless to talk about it any further. Alright, dead men tell no tales, after all. They also open no treasure chests. So then we have... Oops. What do you think, Nick? Is there a chance for us here? Well, as long as we have some kind of testimony from him, there has to be. I'll just have to compare his testimony against the evidence, and boom! Yup. This is it. I have to do this right. We have one more to press here, though. Always in the company of others, didn't have an opportunity to murder Gloomsbury. So you were always in someone's line of sight. I was surrounded by family members and staff as we prepared for the reception. During the reception, I was stationed behind the sweetheart table to attend to the couple. When could I have possibly committed murder? Dear God, help me. I'm not buying it. If Pierce is the true killer, then there must have been some time when he was out of everyone's sight. What do you think, Nick? Is there a chance for us here? Okay, okay. Ooh, I wonder about this. Part of the reception taken by a relative. Much of the reception hall is obscured by thick fog. Could it be? Because we haven't really used the fog machine for anything other than that whole speculation about someone putting the body on ice, which kind of went nowhere. Is it possible he used the fog machine? That would be, like, the time to do it, right? I'm gonna try it, I think. Yeah. Hell yeah. Got this. Mr. Nicody testifies that he was always with someone at the time of the incident, and never had a moment alone to commit the crime. Yes, and the police investigation backs that statement up, doesn't it? But there was an opportunity, in fact. One and only one. But I'm the only one. A moment when Mr. Nicody could have killed Mr. Gloomsbury without anyone noticing. And the one thing that makes that moment possible is shown here in this photograph. Look at it. With all those people watching, I couldn't possibly have committed murder. I do not believe him, Your Honor. This lawyer is a malignant tumor. He wants to infect his pubic hairs. Yeah, I know, yeah, don't start with the pubic hairs. Mr. Nicody, I would ask that you keep quiet this time. We need to evaluate the defense's claim. Your yammering only serves to throw further suspicion your way. Thank you, Edgeworth. You the man. Mr. Wright, let's see this one thing you mentioned. But be warned, this had better not be one of your offhanded claims. Don't worry, man. What do you think you're talking to, Mr. Edgeworth? Who do you think you're talking to? I'm not an object. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please point out for us the one thing that made the moment of the murder possible. I just need to turn it down again. It's getting intense all up in here. Oh my god, but it's everywhere. Does this point anywhere here? The one thing that made the moment of the murder possible is this thick mood fog that engulfed the entire reception hall. It is under the cover of this fog that Mr. Nicody murdered the victim. Just happened to be coming out of there at the same time. What? Mr. Nicody was standing right next to the lantern that Mr. Gloomsbury is. That's true, too. I didn't even consider that. This was the only moment that the murder could have been committed without being seen. Please say I didn't. I can accept that there was a moment when the witness was obscured from others by fog. But that doesn't prove Mr. Nicody killed the victim at that very moment. If you can't prove the crime was committed during the reception, the trial ends here. Oh, I was so caught up in finding a foothold that I forgot to think that far ahead. Crap, man. Well done, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time to call this trial's time of death. Well, Mr. Wright, can you prove the murder happened during the reception? Don't even bother. His claim is dead on arrival. Victory is in your grasp, prosecutor. No, I don't want no stinking victory. I just want you dead, or gone, or out of here. I have no interest in victory. All I care about is the truth. Classic, Edgeworth, classic. One that we can only arrive at through further deliberation. Edgeworth! My man! Enough of this, Your Honor, this trial's over! Nope, Mr. Nicody, it is not. That is for me to decide. You're gonna run out of parts if you keep that up. Mr. Wright, can you prove it? Can you prove that the murder was committed during the wedding reception? Why is there no verdict yet? The lawyer's obviously out of answers. The prosecutor, the judge, they're all infected. Their malignant stupidity is so advanced, not even the best surgeons can save them. In fact, not even a brain transplant could cure them. I didn't realize I was still talking. This court is infected with idiocy. It's a pandemic. Mr. Nicody, it's enough already. Shut up. Finally ready to give up, are you? This is my transformation. Blah, 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 blah. No, just the opposite, actually. I'll prove the murder was committed during the reception by you. I'll do you one better. Oh my god. You'll prove it. Can you really, Mr. Wright? Yes, I can, Your Honor. To be honest, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it just yet. But it got the people's attention, so hey, if I want to get to the truth Edgeworth was talking about, I'll just have to find that way. Something tells me Edgeworth already knows what it is, though. Very well, Mr. Wright, let's have your proof. Now for this fool's news, he's just bluffing. Stop him speaking, Your Honor. I will do nothing of the sort. You're just a district court judge with the power of the Sprocket family. Oh? Enough of your foolishness, Mr. Nicody. This judicial body will not succumb to the influence of money or power. Yeah, let's shut him up. Get out of here, you first-class hoe. Now then, let's hear it, Mr. Wright. Oh, my ears. I forgot how nice it was to be able to hear. Let's hear your truth. Gladly. Think, Phoenix. Remember everything you've learned. You could do this. You could find the definitive evidence. Oh, God. Oh, here we go. This whole thing. Okay. How can I prove the murder took place during the wedding reception? If Pierce committed the murder during the reception, then he had to have used his shoulder mech, the reception photo, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? Okay. I was about to overthink it there for a second. Yes, the weapon that was used to strike the victim twice. According to the autopsy report, the victim was hit by the same object both times. So without a doubt, Pierce used it to commit the murder. The weapon used to kill Gloomsbury was the key of love, y'all. Nope, the timekeeper. I love this part. This looks so cool and it sounds cool too. It's almost like a head die, or like logic die from Danganronpa, isn't it? If Pierce struck the victim during that one single moment, then he must have used the timekeeper. Come to think of it, wasn't it also used for something else during the reception? During the reception, the timekeeper was also used for... Oh, what was it called again? The cutting of the time machine. I think it was the first taste of love, right? Oh, no. Wow. There was dialogue for that. Also, I didn't get punished. Was the cake shaped like a time machine and they were talking about that? Maybe it was the first startup of love. Yeah, because it was like, it's supposed to remind them of it every time when it plays in the future. The timekeeper had been activated. That's right. The timekeeper had been activated during the reception. If we activate the timekeeper again now, and find any trace evidence of the murder, that would make conclusive proof that Gloomsbury was killed during the reception. Oh, man. I didn't even think of it that way. I kept thinking about the key that we found on the table in there. A special ceremony took place during the reception in question. What kind of a special ceremony? It was called the first startup of love. Apparently, the couple activated the timekeeper for the first time during it. Does that mean the timekeeper here in evidence isn't activated at the moment? And what would happen if we were to activate it? Why don't we see for ourselves? It gives us a chance to examine it. So it's like a recorder, then, is what I'm guessing, that recorded the moment. So they could play it back, you know? Go back in time and hear it again, you know? No, you can't activate it. Mr. Nicody, keep quiet or I'll have you thrown out of court. But these gloves are getting hot. I need to finish this. By the way, Mr. Wright, this is supposed to be a time machine, right? We are going to travel back in time to the Stone Age or anything, are we? I don't think we have to worry too much about that, Your Honor. But then again, I wouldn't be too sure, you know? I'm still a little nervous nonetheless, but the truth must be known. Very well, go ahead and start off the timekeeper. Do you know how, Nick? I think so, maybe? The bride and groom each had a symbol of their love, and when they put them together... Oh, how romantic it was indeed! Let's see. I think the symbol of the groom's love must be the timekeeper itself. What symbol of the bride's love would fit together with the timekeeper? Duh! Mr. Wright, are you ready to activate the time machine now? Yes, Your Honor. The symbol of the bride's love that's necessary for acting the timekeeper is... Booyah! I pressed it twice, although I didn't need to. Mrs. Wyatt's pendant, Miss Wyatt's, well, soon to be Mrs. Wyatt's, is the symbol of the bride's love that's necessary for activating the timekeeper. I'm going too fast. Does that mean you can start it up with Miss Wyatt's pendant? I believe so, Your Honor. Very well, please try now, Mr. Wright. I'm anxious to hear this. Okay, here I go. First, I have to figure out where the pendant goes. Oh, well. I thought it went, like, on the front of it, like, right here. That's kind of how I pictured it, but... It's a propeller. It's designed to look like the hands of a clock. I don't think it has anything to do with activating the timekeeper, though. There it is, right next to the other one right there, the little gear. This hole looks like a good spot. I'll try setting the pendant in here. Bloop. Oh, just like that. It fits. This must be the right spot. Now I have to find a place to insert the key. Oh, yeah. Wait, actually on the back, right? Oh, maybe not. Bloop. Wait a minute. This hole in the middle of the pendant. Could this be it? Yeah, you stick his thing into her hole, it totally makes sense. Wind it up, and here it goes. Oh, that's so cute. It worked. The timekeeper's been activated. And look at that crack. Now all I have to do is find proof that the crime was committed during the reception. Well, I tell you, yeah, I'll sure turn it away, so you think I'm gonna miss that, huh? Sure enough, you ain't even kidding. Examine. I think I found it. Conclusive evidence that the murder was committed during the wedding reception. Oopsie! Oh man, it sucks to be this guy right now. Just as I suspected, there's evidence of the murder inside the timekeeper, Mr. Nicody. The timekeeper was only activated and opened during the wedding reception, right? Nope, 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 stop! So that means this is conclusive proof that the crime was committed during the reception. Oh, those gears to the cheek, man, they really hurt. After you killed the victim under the cover of fog, you closed the timekeeper to hide the bloodstain, didn't you? Updated, although we don't really need that anymore. I think we're done mostly here. No, you're wrong. Ellen killed Gloomsbury. It wasn't me, I tell you. Yes, it was. Give it up. Yeah, give it up. How could the defendant, who was in the middle of pledging her love, have possibly committed the murder with everyone watching her? It was the family. Just all the family members conspired together to kill him. Sure. There's no way you can talk your way out of this, Mr. Nicody. During the reception, during that one dreamlike moment, only one person could have used the timekeeper to beat the victim to death. Lone Star! And that one person was you, Burglecut. Von Carr! Man, he's so done. Oh, another gear to the cheek. That's 3 gears. 3 gear-shaped imprints. No, don't have a heart attack. Whoa. You cut the artery. Uh-oh. We must stop the bleeding now. Give me forceps. Forceps, I said. Hey, where is everyone? Fine, I'll manage this alone. I'll do it all by myself. I'll fix anything, repair anything. So you have to get better, you have to live. Oh my god, he's reliving it. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, God. So I think what they were getting at there was that he actually killed her in the operation. Because he was reliving it and he said he severed the artery. Witness, are you finally ready to tell us the truth? It's just as the lawyer deduced. So it was all a revenge scheme against Sorin Sprocket. Do you have any idea how hard it is to lose someone you love? Right in front of you? Phoenix does. Phoenix and Edgeworth both do, actually. Selena's condition was clearly more critical than Sorin's, but in spite of that, she said, "Fix him first." Man, oh man, I just... sorry I haven't been saying much here, but... Man, love will make you do some messed up things, let me tell you. Now you see why I'm never getting married. You see now, Phoenix, you see this. Time stopped for me the day I lost her. Just like this pocket watch of hers. Miss Wyatt? I believe Selena would have said, "Leave this ill will behind. Your time is yours to live." I mean, you're gonna be in jail from now on and everything, but whatever. It's too late. Time will never advance for me ever again. Check. What? It can't be. Huh. Weird. I see now, Selena. What I did was wrong. Oh, no. I do feel for him. I see no further need to continue this trial. Damn, I need a tissue. Bailiff, please take Mr. Nicody away. Pierce Nicody, another tragic character, another inconsolable time traveler, who lived in time that stood still. Boy, no wonder they called this case Turnabout Time Traveler. Alright, you want to get married now? Should we just go ahead and do that while we're here? We have a judge here, so we can go ahead and, you know, render it and everything. Oh, hello there. Your Honor, before you give your ruling, would you please allow me a moment? Very well. What are you going to do? Propose to her again? Because you forgot that you did it the first time? Ellen, there's something I need to say to you. Oh no. I'm gonna get ready for the Kleenex moment, I suppose. I put you through something truly horrible. This whole thing happened all because of me. I would understand if you wanted to call off our marriage. Flowers full of face. Face full of flowers. She's gonna beat him over the head with a pan. Of course not. I've never once thought that. If you stay with me, you'll only face even more trying times in the future. What do you mean? The truth of this incident and the car accident before it. I'm going to tell the public everything. Just run away. Let's just run away together. You know, I expect the company's reputation will suffer, and I'll take a lot of criticism. But I feel I can only really start over once I get everything out in the open. Sorin! After all that's happened, I might not have the right to ask you this, but... Well, how should I say this? Maybe I'll just... Oh my god, he's gonna write it, isn't he? Oh man. He's thinking about it. Wait, maybe not. A life with me probably won't be very easy, but... Will you marry me? Yeah. Ah! I mean, she's already in the dress, dude. Yes, of course. Oh, look at her. Oh, she's so happy. Oh my god, these two chocobo butts. Your Honor, thank you for this time. Please continue with your ruling. Very well, but first I have one question. Do the two of you pledge your eternal love for each other to the goddess of justice, Themis? That's a Dual Destinies throwback. You think I'm gonna fall for that? Does the prosecution or the defense have any objections? Well done, Your Honor. No objections here. But you still won't see me doing that crap. The defense has no objections here either, Your Honor. I don't know why I had to say that so fiercely, but... This court finds the defendant Ellen Wyatt. That's not right. This court finds the defendant Ellen Sprocket. Oh, this is so sweet. Oh my god. This is nice. Now that's a wedding, y'all. Man, the two of us. Edgeworth's just not even having it. Whatever. This court is adjourned. Now get out of here. So refreshing. September 23rd, 11:36 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Hello, Ellen and Sorin, congratulations, y'all. Mr. Wright, I can't thank you enough. You better hurry up and make a videotape so he can watch it tomorrow when he wakes up. You know, just make a videotape that he watches every morning when he wakes up, like 51st dates, you know? That's the easiest way to do it. If you hadn't exposed the truth, Sorin and I we wouldn't... But now you can finally start your new life together, right? One day at a time, as they say. Yeah. Mr. Wright will be holding our real wedding ceremony in the near future. Just once this time. Would you do us the honor of coming to it? I want you to witness our fresh start. Of course, I wouldn't miss it for the world. And Ellen, this time it'll finally be happily ever after, right? Oh, yes! The two of you have persevered and overcome this trial together. Now, no matter what obstacles come your way, I'm sure you'll be able to handle them. And there's another thing I'm sure of, too. This person will always be watching over the two of you. Oh my gosh! Are you seriously at... Of course. Selena, yes, I think you're right. And we promise to live life to the fullest, for Selena's sake, too. Right, Sorin? Who's Selena? Oh my god, you idiot. We better get on our way. Yes, my love. Or, I got somebody's voice mixed up there. Whoa! What the heck is this? When did they find time to do all this? Wow, the old threshold carry, huh? Way to show off. We'll be seeing you. Goodbye for now. I'll be looking forward to that wedding. Hold on tight, Ellen. You better believe... Oh, he's gonna take off, isn't he? Oh, there he goes. Oh, that is kind of romantic, though. there they go. You're not thinking of going to that wedding by yourself, are you, boss? Oh, hello. You're taking us too, right? Oh boy, I bet there's gonna be all kinds of fancy food there. I thought Maya would be the one talking about the food, but wow. When did you get here? Just now. I would have been here to cheer you guys on earlier, but Trucy never gave me a chance to slip away. You're gonna be in even bigger trouble with her later. Speaking of the wedding, maybe I should ask them to invite Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, really? But he thought Ellen was guilty all the way to the end. That may be true, but, he was only going by the facts, you know? It wasn't personal or anything. Don't even bother, his claim's dead on arrival. Picture he's within your grasp, prosecutor. Quiet witness. I have no interest in victory. All I care about is the truth. My classic line. Just had to bring it back one more time. Of course. If he hadn't stood up for us when he did, the trial probably would have ended there. You mean Mr. Edgeworth gave us that chance? Maybe. Though knowing him, I doubt he'd ever tell, even if I asked. 6 years later, still saddled with unnecessary feelings. Well, if that's how you feel about it, Nick, then why not try to get him invited? Hey, Maya? Have you ever tried to catch the bouquet? What? No! I never have either. Fighting over a bouquet that's been tossed by the bride. Talk about a fierce competition. I'm totally stoked. I'm not sure it's really supposed to be all that competitive. I'm a pretty good jumper, so I think I've got a chance. Yeah, you're pretty tall. She's definitely missing the point of the whole thing. Well, you know. And Larry, how did you manage to stay so quiet for so long? Shut up! Wishing the lady you fell in love with every happiness is what a real man does. Pretty sure that relationship was over before it even began, Larry. Darn it all, if only I was 10 years younger, things would have gotten differently. Big fucking mood. Hands of time, what? Oh my god, I went to. I'm sorry. Hands of time, what's your turn back for me? September 30th, 9:20 a.m., Sprocket Park, Mooring Dock. Today is Ellen and Sorin's third wedding ceremony. Oh, I thought I was about to say anniversary. Like, man, that was a time skip. I heard the bride and groom insisted to be on Flying Chapel again. In the end, they were nice enough to invite me and Maya. I'm surprised they remembered who we were, but no. And Athena kind of invited herself. They also invited Edgeworth, Emma, and even Larry. They say third time's the charm, right? I really do hope it's happily ever after for them this time around. Still, I get the feeling it's going to be one rowdy party. Well, as long as you just keep the pegables and stuff out of it, you should be fine. Oh. Damn, Larry, looking good. No! What? No, please, God. Aw. That's so sweet. Oh my god, you guys. What the balls, man? Ah, ha ha ha. Well, that's a hell of a way for Phoenix Wright to end as a series right there, at least as we know it. Obviously, AA7, Ace Attorney 7, is I believe it is a thing. It's like in development. I would imagine probably part of what's held it up for as long as it has is just maybe that they were originally going to put it on the 3DS, but 3DS being so close to the end of its life cycle, I think now they're probably trying to move it to the Switch, if I had to guess. But I don't know if there's like anything out there about that. I haven't tried looking it up or anything, so. But yeah, wow, Ace Attorney, y'all. Oh, that is a thing. We have done it. We have survived. It's been an incredible series, and I'm so happy that I played all these, and I'm so happy that they're part of my life. and just to know all these characters and to have these memories of playing the games and to have dreams about them at night and to be able to talk about them with people and to listen to all the good music and everything and to recognize songs from the games. I'll always be grateful that I let this little series into my life, because it's definitely been worth it. Yeah, that's it for Spirit of Justice, y'all. Man, I got the farts, though. I farted like 4 times in this recording, so I'll probably have to either edit some of those out or maybe... Well, I thought I had a 5th one there. That's what made me even bring it up in the first place, but okay. I guess no 5th fart today. Yeah, well... Thanks everybody who stuck this out with me. I know it hasn't been the most popular series out there, but then again, if you're hearing this, that means you're one of those who's chosen to stick with the series for this long with me, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. It would have been just fine to do it alone, you know, but I still feel like it is a blessing that I get to share it with y'all too. To kind of just, you know, have it cemented somewhere out there in the world that I did this, you know, and this is how it went for me. This was my experience. Yeah, I mean, money can't buy things like that, you know. Well, I think I'm probably just going to go ahead and say goodbye there. And I will see you again real soon. Maybe on a different series, possibly on AA7 when it comes out. I don't know. We'll see when that time comes. But until then, this is Nintendo Capri Sun signing out, saying... See you in court. Or in Hyrule. Or wherever your travels may take you. So long.